We are live for a brand new training. This was it's going to be a really juicy one because today we are talking about, we've even put together a little document for you guys. We're talking about how to find clients that pay 5K per month, stay for a long time, and are wonderful to work with. Okay, so we're going to be mainly focusing on some of the traits that Tal and myself, we've seen from working with a lot of e-com clients at this point. We've pretty much seen it all. Obviously, we're students of the game, so there's always more to see. But yeah, we've kind of seen what is a good client and what a good client looks like, how they behave, some of the telltale signs that you can look out for, and also what are the telltale signs that a client is a bad client, right? And luckily, by watching till the end of this live training, you're gonna come out knowing what type of clients to stay away from, and also what type of clients to really go for that can really make an agency just a wonderful business to scale, an easy business to scale, and to deal with.
Absolutely.
So
one of the great things I think about running an agency is you get to work with people from all over the world, right? Have clients. I've worked with clients in China. I've worked with clients in Europe, America, and they're all a little bit different. And you get to really learn a lot about what it's like for them to run a business there, how you can help. It develops you and your team quite well, I think. That being said, worked with all sorts of clients, and the good ones really make you love your job, make you want to wake up in the morning and just get them excellent results. Such a great thing to have. So if you follow kind of like our little outline here, and you really take note and you hunt down these really good clients, you're just going to love your agency. It's going to be one of the best things that ever happened to you.
100%.
But also, do you want to talk about that note now? Or?
Yeah, I'll talk about the little note. I do want to make just a little tiny statement, which is, as much as on this live training we're going to focus on what great clients look like, we do also believe that first client is more than the best client, which could be the case. Okay, your first client, and I've seen it happen with my students. Their first client stays on for 1+ year, right? Like 2 years sometimes, right? And so understand that it could, you could hit the jackpot on that first client, but the first client you should reframe that first client as the one that kickstarts everything and starts building that momentum for you, gives you that extra confidence and allows you to kind of name drop a little bit, gives you that confidence in sales calls and really battle proofs the systems and processes that you currently have for your agency. So understand that, just a little note, right? Do not go into that if you don't have a client yet, right? Do not just like overthink to a point where you don't onboard a client that looks decent, too good on paper, just because it's not a great client and it doesn't meet some of the criteria that we're going to talk about, right? These criteria 100% still apply. We still, you still want to have them in mind, but just keep that in mind. That first client is mainly to start building that momentum, to really troubleshoot all the systems and processes that you've been building for your agency, and to really give you that extra confidence. Okay. Having said that, we've broken down this training, okay, into three different parts. So we've got the financial component, what to look for in a client financially, especially for e-commerce we're talking about, because why would you be doing local business? The brand component, all right? So as a brand, how do they behave? What is the kind of the public perception of that brand? And finally, the interpersonal relationships. Okay, how do they behave towards us? How do they behave on a sales call? Some of the red flags to watch out for. So yeah, without further ado, I think the first one is financial component. Maybe Tal, you can start with healthy profit margins.
Healthy profit margins, definitely. So obviously, the amount that they can make on every product they sell is important. The higher that margin is, the better. Now, Jaime, maybe you can also provide some personal insight here, but most of the clients I've worked with in the outdoor recreation space have had excellent profit margins, upwards of no lower than 60%, which is actually quite awesome. But I know Jaime, in your case, you work with some brands not in my niche. Would you consider, like, what is the lowest for maybe one of those products people buy a lot of, like a candy bar, maybe a skincare product? What are the margins people should be looking for?
To your example, cosmetics, I've seen have insane profit margins. It's pretty cheap to create some of these products, and they have a lot of perceived value. So, the profit margins are great on those. Food and beverage, I have seen obviously that, profit margins are not huge, but that's because also they rely on the repeat purchase. Okay. Having said that, if a brand is not repeat purchase, meaning they don't make most of the money on not the first sale that you get them, but by introducing that person to that brand and them liking the chocolate bar and then buying a bunch, right? If they don't do that, right, and it's a one-time offer or one-time purchase type of brand, less than 40% is going to be tough, to be honest with you. And the simple reason why that is because you always want to have the break-even ROAS in mind. What is the break-even ROAS? It is the point at which we're making them money, okay, on their ad spend. So the break-even ROAS, for example, is just a very simple equation, okay? It goes 1 over profit margin, all right? And so an example, if you've got 50% profit margin, 1 over 0.5, 2x ROAS, okay? So you would have to at least make them or get them a 2x ROAS on your ads to start making money for them. That's not a huge feat, right? But if we start getting into 40% profit margins, even 30% profit margins, for example, 30% would be 1 over 0.3, which is 3.3x ROAS, which is a little bit more difficult, right? It's not difficult to get a 3.3x, but keep in mind, break-even ROAS it's just the point at which you're making the money, right? So just to be profitable, you have to be at least at 3.3x, okay? Now, if the product that you're selling is not high repeat purchase, right? So meaning they don't make the money mainly on people buying again, and also it's not a viral product like a fidget spinner and that takes off and they can sell a huge number of products, right?
Units.
Then it's probably going to be a little bit harder. Units, yeah. It's probably going to be a little bit harder. So keep that in mind. Healthy profit margins are always great, because if you've got a brand that has an 85% profit margin, 90% profit margin, I mean, the break-even ROAS is going to be like 1.1, 1.2x ROAS, right? At which point, you're making the money. So that becomes really easy to start generating returns for them.
That being said, though, if you're talking to a brand that doesn't have high profit margins, there's actually a way to still turn them into a profitable client and provide them a ton of value. This also kind of comes into the capital they have to invest. Say you're talking to somebody that can't afford to pay you. This is when you can offer a consultation, otherwise known as like a DW, done with you package. Instead of doing the ads for them, you actually maybe have like a weekly call where you show them how to build a brand, how to build these systems in that niche. And I've done this a couple of times, and it can turn a client that could barely afford to pay you into a pretty profitable client, because oftentimes as the agency owner, you can provide this service yourself, just 1 hour a week, sitting down, talking to them, showing them the systems that work in your niche. You don't have to pay anyone on your team, and all that goes to you and the agency. So yeah, while profit margins are incredibly important, if you do encounter those brands that don't have the best, you can still turn it into a great client. Absolutely.
Yeah, I completely agree. And students in the mentorship have had a lot of success with that, especially because when it comes to sales goals, you never want to not have something to sell them, right? And that's not because we want to try to sell them I don't know, whatever we find or whatever we can come up with. It's simply because we want to make sure that they can at least walk away with some sort of value that we can monetize, right? And so for the brands that honestly have anywhere between 500 to $1,000 to invest into ads, the best solution for them is not going to be you running the ads for them, right? And the simple reason being is because information at that point, right? Information is going to have way more leverage than money, right? Let me repeat that. Information is going to have way more leverage than money. It's the same reason why I say that people will not, if you've got like less than 10K in the bank or less than 10K to invest, you're not going to get rich by investing into stocks or crypto, right? You're much better off like investing into yourself, building a bit up a business, and then taking that business to 10K, 20K, 50K per month, right? And then reinvesting those profits into something, into a vehicle like stocks, like crypto, and all this stuff, right? Why? Because these type of investments, right, amplify wealth. Ads can amplify wealth, right? But if you're coming to me and you've got 500 to K to invest into ads, my solution is not going to be ads. I'm going to tell you, like, look, we're not going to run the ads for you, because quite frankly, you're not quite ready for ads. You shouldn't even be thinking about ads, even if it were to get you incredible returns with ads, right? Let's just say you put in a K and we make we get you a 4x ROAS and we make 4K back. That's not really going to change your business, is it? Right? However, you give me that K, all right? You give me that 1,000. We have a 4-week, 6-week consultation, right? I show you how to implement just basic core sales funnels that you don't have in place, how to build out, a much better landing page, how to structure your winning offer, and how to maybe run some basic retargeting ads. We build that, right? We get you to 10K per month, we get you to 20K per month, right? And at that point, then we transition into a done for you paid ad service, right? And so, and not only are they going to be very glad about that because you're being super honest with them, right? But it's actually great for you because you get paid on the consultation, right? Honestly, that client as a paid ads client would have been a pain, right? You get paid for the consultation. It's a much easier sale, right? And then you can actually transition them to an agency client, right? So it works out for everyone, but just keep that in mind. The fact that like not all clients are done for you clients. Done with you is an incredible solution. And you want to have both sort of processes in place, right? And ready to go, which is one of the things that we talk about in mentorship as well, right? Making sure that you have something to sell them, making sure that you have something to add value with.
That right there, anyone listening should write that down because that is very, very important. Great value right there.
In fact, the way you wanna the final thing I say is because in when it comes to sales, you always want to polarize, right? So another, one thing that you could add to that is like, look, most agencies will try to take your 1,000 and run some ads for you, but that's just not gonna, generate the highest return, right? Like that is short-term thinking, right? And honestly, thinking that it doesn't work. So yeah, it doesn't really make much sense.
Absolutely. Taking them under your wing, consulting them, turning them into a bigger client down the road. That's the way to do it. We are running short on time and a lot more to cover. So if you're watching this and you want access to this whole document, just you hashtag replay. We may post it. But I'd say one of the other big important things to think about is just the brand component. Like, do they have a good offer to take to market? We kind of talked about this a minute ago. But if, at the end of the day, if they have a really maybe not so great product, there's only so much you can do for them, right? We do a lot of great work for our clients, but at the end of the day, you need to find a brand that has a good offer, a brand that makes you and your team excited to get up there and work for them. That is when everyone's going to be performing at their best. Also, another really great reason to niche down, because if you niche down, you're going to find a lot of those products that make you excited. Build a monopoly around that particular niche. The benefits there are just endless.
And it doesn't go without saying that we don't get involved on the offer selection. As an e-com agency owner, you do have to kind of tell them like, okay, this should be the offer that we take to a cold audience. But when with offer here, we mean mainly like, do they have a product that actually can add value to the marketplace? If not, like it's gonna be hard to really scale things to the moon. You could just kind of stay on and you could keep things floating, and you could have that client as a first client, as a second client, to build momentum, but it's not going to be a home run.
Yep. And those first few clients are super important. And like we said earlier, these are all great things to keep in mind as you look for clients, but those first 1-2 should be there to get momentum built under you, really show you how to play the game, get those initial results, and then you can worry about these. Don't overthink it in the beginning. At the end of the day, like most clients out there that I've worked with are good clients, right? These are the great clients. These are kind of their components, but good clients are still a joy to work with. You're going to love it if you don't have clients yet, or maybe if you've had bad client experiences, focus on these traits and you'll find it so much more effortless.
100%. Do we have time for? We don't, right? We have 1 minute. Okay. So one-time purchase versus high repeat purchase. So essentially, you want to make sure that you understand the difference between those, right? If it's a one-time purchase product, there has to have some they have to have high profit margins, ideally, right? Because the money is mainly on that first purchase, right? And so it's going to be much easier. If it's a high repeat purchase product, which means people buy it more than once, right? It's kind of maybe a monthly subscription or a sort of a program, a product that you use time and time again, then you can be a little bit more aggressive with the cost per acquisition. Meaning you can pay a little bit more to acquire that client on the front end because most of the money is made on the back end. So a little distinction also to keep in mind from a brand perspective. How do they make the money, right? What is the vehicle for growth?
Absolutely. Well, I think that about caps us off at time today, as we both have some calls to get to.
Yes, 100%. Here's what we're gonna do, guys. For those of you watching either live or watching the replay of this, if you want, okay, go ahead and comment me. Go ahead and comment me down below, okay? And I'll personally reach out with some of the stuff that we didn't have time for today, and a few other tips to really scale things up with your agency in 2022. Yeah, just getting back with this community. So we're putting we're going the extra mile here. So hopefully you guys appreciate it. If you do, and if you enjoyed this training and found some value, go ahead and smash the like button. And with that being said, anything else, Tal?
That's it. Looking forward to doing this again soon. Great time. And yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye. Take care.